Dear children, in this video, I will continue with History, chapter Civilizing the Native, Educating the Nation. The topics that I will explain are what happened to local schools and the agenda for a national education.
In 1830s, a Scottish missionary named William Adam was asked by the company to prepare a report on the progress of education in vernacular schools. Adam reported that there were over 1 lakh pathshalas in Bengal and Bihar. These were small schools with students generally around 20. But the total number of students in these pathshalas was over 20 lakh. There were the schools with flexible education systems such as there were no blackboards, books, building, furniture, etc. At some places, classes were held under a tree, at the corner of shop, temple, or at the guru's home. There were no separate classrooms or roll calls. All students sat together. The teachers used to interact separately with the students having different level of learning. There was no annual examination or timetable. Fee was also received according to the income of parents. This flexible system was suitable to the local needs. For example, there were no classes during the harvest season as rural children had to work in the fields. The Pathshala started once again when the crops had been cut and stored. This meant that even children of peasant families could study. Earlier, the company was only concerned about the higher education. But after 1854, the company took a decision to improve vernacular schools. Pandits were appointed as in charge to look after 4 to 5 schools. Some new features were introduced, such as teaching now was to be based on textbooks. Annual examination was to be conducted. Students were asked to pay regular fee. Gurus were asked to submit periodic report and take classes as per the timetable. Students were asked to attend regular classes, sit at a fixed place, and obey the rules. Government grants were given to those pathshalas which accepted the rules. But it had some drawbacks also. Gurus who wanted to retain their independence found it difficult to compete with government-aided, regulated pathshalas. Children of peasants found it difficult to attend school regularly during harvest season.
Now, our next topic is the agenda for a national education. Many Indian thinkers wanted to introduce Western education in India because they wanted India to develop like the Western countries. So they urged the British to open more schools and colleges in India. On the other hand, people like Rabindranath Tagore and Mahatma Gandhi opposed the system of Western education. Mahatma Gandhi said that the Western education was like a poison, as it had developed a feeling of inferiority among Indians. It had destroyed the sense of pride for our own culture, and not only this, Indians who got educated from these institutions appreciated the British rule in India. Gandhi wanted the education system which could bring back the sense of dignity among Indians.
Mahatma Gandhi strongly felt that Indian languages ought to be the medium of teaching. According to him, Western education system only focused on reading and writing, whereas stress should be given on practical learning in which one uses his skills and practical knowledge, as it led to the development of the mind and the capacity to understand. Rabindranath Tagore started Shantiniketan in 1901. Tagore, as a child, hated going to school, as he described school as a prison. He said he could never do what he felt like doing in school. He wanted to set up schools where children were happy, where they could be free and creative, where the child was able to explore their own thoughts and desires. He felt that childhood ought to be a time of self-learning. He emphasized the need to teach science and technology at Shantiniketan, along with art, music, and dance. According to him, creative learning be encouraged only within a natural environment, and hence set up his school 100 kilometers away from Calcutta in rural setting. He saw it as an abode of peace, Shanti Niketan, where living in harmony with nature, children could cultivate their natural creativity. Though Mahatma Gandhi and Tagore shared similar views on education, but there were some differences also. Gandhiji was totally against the Western education system, but Tagore wanted to combine the best elements of both the education system. He emphasized on teaching science along with art, music, and dance.